히트다 히트.
히트 시즌 2.
Welcome back, everybody, to SPL on a one. Oh, there we are.
There we are. Whoa!
Hey, guys.
Get down, BenQ. Chill out. BenQ gets too
I guess I should put mine down a little bit too.
In the middle of these games, man, the BenQ just rises.
Yeah.
And we like put it back down.
He's getting excited. He's trying to see the screen.
Now I'm gonna put him back up. All right. So already 1-1. For me, these are the expected results.
Oh, yeah.
Game 3, the best game by far, potentially of both matches realistically tonight, is going to be probably the match that decides everything, because I think reality is also very heavily favored. If Deer can take this match, Samsung might just knock CJ down. So it's very important for herO to take this. And this one is a very difficult one to predict. herO has been looking better in his most recent games played, but he had a horrible start to round 3, from being the top really of the winners ranking to being totally overshadowed by Maru, and now just taking tough losses against opponents you wouldn't expect him to lose to. But he's bringing it back in his last few matches. He's bringing it back big.
He's bringing it back, and overall, for the entire year, he's very consistent, 15-6. One of the most winning players we do have here. You know, when you look at it side by side with Maru's results, where he's like 15-1, it's like, well, you know, it's actually not. Well, it's really, really good, guys. 15-6. He's 7-1 against Protoss. I think 2 of those wins were against Deer.
Yep.
So for me, when I looked at this, my eyes immediately went towards herO, but as we said, it's a PvP, it's a mirror matchup. Anything really could happen here, and Deer's a fantastic player as well.
17-15 in head-to-head. The vote here, 2 and 5. Only Kanata and Tasteless go for Deer. Everyone else going with what I'd argue is the safe vote on herO.
For sure, guys. Well, let's jump into Frozen Temple for game number 3. Down here in the bottom right, in the blue from Samsung, it is Deer.
Up in the top left, his opponent for CJ Antis, it is herO. Now, Deer has been called many things, but I feel the thing he's been called the most by fans, commentators, Korean fans, foreign fans, everybody, is a one-hit wonder. He was the GSL champion that no one saw coming. And after he took that, he took it so hard. Like, he won that season just with flying colors. Like, no one could touch him. He was the best Protoss in the world in that moment by far. He really took that season by storm. Everyone was like, wow, he's really, really powerful, you know, as a player in this moment. And everyone thought for the next few seasons he would actually be continuing to do that same level of play. But he kind of just tapered off and became a mid-tier player for the rest of his career. And he's so inconsistent. You and I talk about this all the time, how inconsistent Deer is. And I feel like in this matchup, there is somewhat of a rivalry. They played against each other over 30 times. And they have a very close record. And I feel like some of the games we've seen between these two, specifically these two players, are crazy, where it's like one player is up 80 supply, but he lost his observer, and DTs come in, you know?
Yeah,
we're always in for a treat when we watch these two players play.
I forget the map that it was. Maybe Larilat Crest, I think it was. Well, one of those maps we had in some of the older seasons here. And herO was just holding on barely, and Deer, all he had to do was like move down to the third base and kill it. And we're like, just go to the third base and kill it. Just play it safe. But he tried to go up the ramp, and herO just barely held. It was so, so close. And from there, I mean, herO went on to win that game, and that was one of those really close games between these two.
They were in a lot of
ace. The best of.
There were a lot of ace matches against each other as well. Like,
these two are the ace players of their teams, right?
So many important matches played between these two. Now, herO is going to go and scout, which is great for him because he did the double gateway opening, so he's going to have more stalker pressure on the map. He's also going to... Ooh, he does find the probe. He should see this.
I think he does see it there, right?
I guess not. I think he just missed it on the mini-map.
I mean, even if he technically saw it, maybe he didn't really see it with his eyes. So this probe is going to come in here for a bit of a later scout. It's coming in at the timing after the Stalkers move out, and you can see that on the mini-map. It's not being highlighted here, but this is actually perfect scout timing from Deer.
Okay, it looks like he will just go and scout this, as you said. The Stalker over here looking to deny scouts, but a very risky thing to do when you don't know if your opponent went 2 gates, because the Stalkers of your opponent could kill you if you do that. But it's not an aggressive move out with the Stalkers from herO, at least not at the time being. We do see 2 sentry fault for both players. It's going to allow them a little more flexibility at their bases. And it looks like this probe will finally be eliminated. There was definitely the possibility that Deer was considering a proxy, but even though herO didn't quite see his probe, he saw that he might have. And so he was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. He may have just been planning on doing that later scout that we were talking about. But as it is, wow, the probe survives with 1 health. Oopsie daisy, letting that one go.
Yeah.
Shade's going to come up here and get denied by a tight wall, or not. Never mind.
No tight wall, but he doesn't commit to it, as there are a bunch of units there for the defense. Yeah. And both the players are going for similar builds here. Nexus is decently fast. Robotics facilities finishing up. And looks like Deer is the only player here that's going for Twilight Council so far. Whereas herO is saying, I want to get the earlier Immortal count out very, very fast. And Deer's just going to play it a little bit more standard.
Yeah. He has the Twilight Council finished now. He's giving some thought as to what he wants to do with it. He doesn't have enough money for Blink yet, or enough gas, I should say. Neither player has taken their gas at their natural. Just getting the Observer first. He's nearly there, and I think we will see Blink. It would be kind of crazy if we saw DTs here. There's the Blink, but also a Warp Prism coming to join this. Warp Prisms are both players. And with this kind of tech on the map, these Warp Prisms, obviously taking a third base becomes a lot more difficult. And that's why hallucination scouts like this one are so important, because you find out if your opponent has that prism coming up and how you need to respond to that accordingly, where your Stalker should be positioned.
We've seen a lot of good PvPs on this map. Lots of Protosses coming out here. You were talking about how you get mirror matchups in Pearly because there's certain maps that are better for certain races, and it's kind of what we've seen. I think MC versus Zest was on this map as well. Another great game, I forget exactly who was playing, was on this map, but lots of PvPs, and a lot of it comes down to the aggression at the third base. Do people overcommit? We even saw that at GSL when MC and Zest rematched against each other. They played on this map, and MC just overcommitted at that third base, trying to put on the pressure when they were kind of at equal supplies. But the defending player is usually going to win because of the the pylon overcharges, the quicker Immortal rally, right? All this good stuff. And now it looks like herO wants to be the aggressor.
Yeah, super aggressive, and that one pylon is not going to be enough. It will be burst down so quickly by this much DPS, especially the Immortal. Even overcharging it here might have even been a mistake, because that barely lasted. He got like 2 or 3 shots off. He does have the ramp here, but look what herO can do just with the power of the Warp Prism, saving low health units, getting their shields back up, and now reinforcing very quickly. That overcharge is useless. It's not even in range. He's going to target down the Mothership Core. He goes for it, and he will get it.
And look at that, he just force fields the ramp. Blink is not done yet, and the sentries are stuck on the ramp anyway. He can just slowly focus down this Nexus.
Yep, and this counter harass here is not really being microed. Looks like the sentries will finally come down, but he's going to kill the probes first. Continual micro here with the Warp Prism, and this should just be game over. There's no way for Deer to recover. He's not targeting his adepts back at home either. They're just on the edge of the base. And he's just going to break his way up the ramp now. That should be game here, and herO going to take that 2-1 lead.
Wow, this is not the game I was expecting, but herO just swinging the hammer, not going for a third base, building a lot of extra units, getting those early Immortals, and going for the aggression. Deer wanted to play for the longer game, but herO wasn't having it.
I think this all goes down to that hallucination scout. He's like, oh, wow, you committed to Blink Tech. You don't have the Immortal count you need to defend a push like this. And it would have been a lot tougher for herO to make this work if the Adept drop actually did damage, but because it did not, now herO has Adept attack speed. A second Immortal comes across the map to rejoin this force. He still has that Prism. And I can't imagine, anyway, with half the supply, less than half the supply of herO, Deer comes back in this game. He's going to lose his Nexus. This Mothership Core has a full energy bar, so he can do Time Warp, whatever it wants. Could start killing that Robo. I think he probably should. He's chasing a bit hard here.
He can even be cheeky, kill the natural, and then recall home and make a third base.
I mean, he can do whatever he wants.
Full Artosis style.
Mana recalls.
Totally unnecessary. But there you go. GG. herO going to take the game. Kind of what we were expecting. but I didn't expect it quite to go down that way.
Yeah, I think it was just a reaction to the hallucination scout, like, oh, you just don't have enough to hold pressure like this. I don't think he expected to end the game here by any means, but he was able to catch Deer's units, as you said, on the ramp where they couldn't come down and reinforce. Then he could actually just keep warping against sentries if he wanted to, but he did too much damage before that even needed to happen.
And herO's consistency continues. He's 16-6 now, as he now stands at the most winning player spot there by himself. Maru's still at 15-1. And yeah, this is a good day to win on. You just got your award for 100 wins. Why not add another one? Yep. You can sit at 101. That's even better.
Way better than 101 Dalmatians, man.
Oh, yeah, please. Don't be watching any of that. Like, just come over here and watch some Starcraft. Watch herO get his 101st win.
So, with this win, it does put CJ Entus on match point. However, Bunny is, I would say, a severe underdog in the next matchup versus Reality on Dust Towers. So even though this was a loss for Deer, a win for Deer, I think he knows, as his team knows, a win for Deer in that match probably would have secured them the victory, but they're not out of this yet because Reality is so favored. Reality will have to follow through and get that win. And I know a lot of people look at this and say, well, isn't it kind of crazy you would just count Bunny out? But I mean, in this
not
case,
exactly what you're saying either, you know?
In this case, I'm like not counting him out, but if he pulls off an upset, then CJ wins. So he has this crazy opportunity that he was probably expecting, because coaches and players, they know where they are. They know where their skill stands. So look at this match going, okay, herO, if you mess this up, we're in terrible shape. This is scary because Reality is the better player here. But now they can go, okay, stick to the plan. Maybe Bunny even has a cheese strat prepared here, hoping, expecting, as everyone,
could happen,
5 of 7 people expected that herO would take that match.
Yeah.